Hi everyone, this is Tina with a new tutorial for Tina Tutors Tuesdays. I'm here to discuss with you ways you can prepare for the ACT. One thing I'd like to mention is the fact that this is a brand new ACT prep guide in which has been a recent change within the last year. So for those of you who are new to preparing for the ACTs or about to take a new ACT test pretty soon this year or in the near future, this is the textbook that I would recommend for you to order online. And I will include a link below for the price and where you can order them. So some things I'd like to discuss are the changes that were made. Some things that you can expect to have been made are the reading section. There's some sections, I should say, may have dual passages that are related to each other, in which you will be answering questions, half regarding the first part of the passage, the other half about the other half of the passage, and then additional questions that pertain to both passages. And this will be replacing some of the reading passages. Some of them will still be the same as all the others. So, if you've already been preparing and you're familiar with the old textbook, there is an old one. That one I do still recommend for additional practice with most of the subject areas. The other additional change to the ACT is for those of you that are interested in taking the writing portion or have to take the writing portion, whichever the case may be for you. The writing portion is now extended to now 40 minutes and has now given 3 different perspectives in which you must respond to all 3 and give your personal perspective on the case. So definitely what I recommend is you get your own copy of this textbook. And I also recommend that you figure out how you're going to prepare for the ACTs. And you have a couple of options. You can either prepare by yourself using the same textbook. You can go to the ACT's website, actstudent.org, and figure out other alternatives where I believe they have some kind of online tutorial or whatever, but there is a fee. The other way you can go about it is to find your own personal tutor. And you can find one through one of those tutoring centers, learning centers, whatever they're called, and you can also find one online. There's a lot of different websites and things that are they basically house profiles of various different tutors with all their different rates and things like that. So reasons why you might want to consider perhaps finding your own tutor or perhaps even following along with this video is because sometimes it's difficult sometimes it's difficult to find a decent tutor that works well with the student, so that can be a bit of a challenge, number 1. Number 2, if you were to try to go to a tutoring center or a learning center where they actually help students prepare for the ACTs, I have heard many students' parents express their disappointment in the results of such things. So I don't recommend them. Of course, the other side of it too, it all depends on how the student learns. So you as an individual, if that's the way you learn best, that may work for you. However, I've not heard very many good things about it. They still exist. People still use them. Likely because maybe they've heard someone else that worked for them, or they're just giving it a chance just to see if it works out. So that being said, I just would like to share that if you were interested in trying to prepare by yourself with this textbook, or even with the help of this video guide as I'm creating, some things that you might want to know about me are my personal background in the area of tutoring. I've been tutoring for over 10 years in math, and I've also been tutoring in ACTs for over 5 years. So I have lots and lots of experience worked with many different students of different personalities, and I try my very best to relate to my students. Of course, through this video it's going to be very difficult to do. However, I will say that I have been capable of helping students improve in all the different areas of the ACT prep, regardless of my strengths and weaknesses. So that's one thing to consider. So I have many years experience, and I've helped students increase their scores anywhere from 1 point to 6 points, depending on their initial test that they received and what their score was. So obviously, for example, if you have a total score of 30 on the ACT, the chances of you getting more than a point is much less likely than someone, say, that started out at a score of 20 in their first test that they took. So if someone got a 20, it's more likely they can increase more points than someone at a 30. So just some things to think about. And also, it does depend on how much a student will be willing to work on this. You need to be able to put in your full efforts in order to do well. Some other things to also think about too is scheduling. I intend on making these videos somewhere around 15 videos, 15 minutes each. I recommend that you spend at least an hour to 2 hours each week. And in my videos, I'm going to explain how you can prepare yourself to know when to start prepping and how much time you should allow yourself, things like that. So some other things I'm going to want to talk about in my videos would be to tell you how you can increase your score, what the first steps are, things like that. So one thing that I did prior to making this video was I started writing down a bunch of ideas of things I'd like to share with you through my video. I have to say that these are these notes are very messy. They're also kind of all over the place. So I'm just going to move over to my notes and then explain everything and go in the right order, and we can go from there. So putting this book aside and then bringing my journaling book. This is actually more of an art book, but I've been using it for both art and notes. So Tutoring with Tina, ways to prepare for the new ACT, 2016 to 2017. First step would be to get your own copy of the updated ACT book, the official ACT prep book, 2016-2017, which I just showed on camera. Some options that you have is you can find a tutor for one-on-one sessions, or you can go through the book by yourself or subscribe to my channel for a free online guide. And something I also note, you can see an arrow going to this side. When you're looking for a tutor, it can be a bit of a painful process because you have to decide where to find your tutor, which tutoring company you'll want to go with, and whether you want to attend a tutoring center or to have the tutor meet you at your house or local library. If the tutor works well with you or the student, or how much you are willing to pay for the tutoring sessions, I should say. And just keep in mind, something to keep in mind is that tutoring centers, they're more of a classroom environment. And I've had families tell me that it hadn't worked for them, they weren't very beneficial for them, and there wasn't hardly any, I don't think there was any, not even a little bit of one-on-one time with the student. And I don't exactly know how they work out. So one thing, if you are considering a tutoring center, you might want to find out what does their program look like, what booklets are they having you go with, and what is the atmosphere like? Is it a one-on-one session? Is it more of a classroom session? Does the tutor in the room, does he or she help the students, discuss things with students, anything like that? So that's just some things to think about. It's not noted here, but I just want to make sure I'm going through all these things so that I am not forgetting any points I'd like to make. Let's see. Oh, I am missing something here. Let's see. We're here. Why you should or might want to subscribe to my channel. So I've had many years experience in math, many experience of ACT tutoring prep. Helped countless students achieve their score goals. And through my videos, I will help you create your own score goal without you telling me what your initial score is. And I'll be posting videos of best ways to prepare for each section of the test. And I will help you figure out your score goal. I have mentioned that already. And you can expect an increase of 1 to 6 points over your current score, depending on many different factors. It's going to depend on your personal time and efforts into preparation and where you're currently scoring. And what do I mean by this? And I made an example of if you had a score of 30 at your initial test, or if it was lower, say like 20, which I don't think I mentioned in here, but the chances of improving more than 1 or 2 points at a base score of 30 is much less likely, obviously. So this video is a free guide. You can request for me to make tutoring videos based on your areas of weakness. However, please remember that I'm only available to create new videos on a weekly basis. My plans are to do at least 1 tutoring video and 1 DIY craft video each week on Tuesdays. So that's something to think about as well. Therefore, that way many different ages can be interested hopefully in my channel. And please also, of course, tell your friends if you find that my videos have been helpful. And since this is my first ACT prep video, I will be posting more videos. I'm preparing for the ACT until I've gone through the entire book. However, I want to make a quick note about the entire book. I will not be going through every single thing in the book. I will be going through parts that I feel are going to help guide you through your process of going through the book. So, you know, there are at least, in the new textbook that I showed you, there's at least 3 practice tests. The previous version had 5 practice tests. The version before that had only 3 practice tests. My favorite is the 5 practice tests before the changes, of course. I do still recommend having at least a copy of that so you have more practices in the areas of, say, like math, even parts of reading, even though they're not going to have the new passage types, but they'll still have some of the old stuff anyways in the new test, so I would still work on those. Science is still the same, English is still the same, writing is slightly different. So for the writing portion, we will only be using the new textbook. I might have additional practices, and I'll also talk about how you can improve your writing score without even having someone to grade it. So, moving on. So, through my videos, I will help you develop strategies for each subject to help increase your score, move through the test as efficiently as possible, and gain the confidence that you may need when taking the test. Oh yeah, so the whole point of my notes here, and I apologize, they're all over the place, and I haven't exactly been following along because obviously it wouldn't make much sense for me to move the camera along for you to read along with me, especially because it's more about you knowing what this whole video is about rather than reading everything word for word. So, yes, just so you know, this video is not intended to be a free video copy of the book. You'll still need to do your own practice tests and assignments and things like that. Oh, speaking of which, I will be suggesting assignments. I say suggesting because, you know, some students are probably more ambitious than others. Some students may not want to do too much prep work. So, you know, that'll all be explained and things like that in future videos. Some other things I'd like to note as well. As long as you subscribe to my channel, feel free to communicate with me through YouTube or through, you know, if there's a way to give my email address, or if you prefer email address, just put a message in the comments so that I know, and we can go from there. But you can communicate with me on any specific areas that you still need help in. You know, like for example, something specific such as, like, let's say your struggle is math and you need to know how to solve word problems. If you tell me that you need something like that in advance, I can actually create videos or just communicate with you and go from there. We'll figure something out. And what you can worry, like if you're worried about, oh, I never took trigonometry, I know there's trigonometry on the test, you know, what can I do? That's something we can also discuss. I will also include specific tips in each subject to help improve your scores. I will explain how to score your practice tests. I will also help you decide which subject to start on first. Tutoring versus these videos. Tutoring sessions can be anywhere from 1 to 2 hours, whether it's one-on-one or at a center. These videos will be between 15 to 20 minutes each, and each subject in the ACT will have several parts or subcategories. This will allow you to completely cover everything in this book in chunks, and I recommend watching at least 3 to 6 videos, as my videos I'm planning on them to being about 15 minutes each. So you might want to plan on 3 to 6 videos each week as you complete the practice assignments. You can easily complete this at any time that's convenient for you and rewatch any of the videos to help refresh you on any of the subjects or strategies that we had discussed in any of the videos. With my own students, I've been able to complete each subject after two 2-hour sessions, especially in math. It usually takes the longest. That being said, it will depend on how you pace yourself and with these videos and assignments, and whether or not you're going through this on a weekly basis. So if you're taking a vacation, consider that into your planning of how soon you should start these videos. Some subjects, of course, will take less time. And as I've said, math would be the longest. So here's a prep schedule idea. So if, for example, it takes 4 hours to complete math, then it'll take 2 hours roughly about for all the other subjects. Writing might be slightly less than that, but it did increase to 40 minutes, so it may basically be the same. So plan on about 12 hours total, depending on, and you can divvy that up into 12 weeks, into 6 weeks, however you want. If you're worried it might take a little bit longer, plan on starting it a little sooner. So my videos are going to be roughly about 15 to 20 minutes each. So it'll be 3 to 4 videos per about 1 hour. If you spend 2 hours a week, 6 videos a week, and so we basically talked about that. So you can complete this book in no less than 6 weeks, unless you skip subjects. If you do 1 hour a week, this will take 12 weeks. So know how soon you should start preparing for this test. And if math is a huge struggle, prep can take longer than 12 weeks, so start prepping early, and then please be sure to ask me any questions that you need. So this is going to be where I stop the video. The next week I'm going to be including how to familiarize yourself with the ACT test, some general test-taking strategies, as well as how to create your score goal. So please tune in to next week's channel, and don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends. Thank you, and talk to you later. Bye.